Bravehearts, Urbanites, and Coach Mad Hatters. It's wonderful to have you here. I'm trying to figure out what day it is. I have been in such a time loop. Hang on, Wednesday, February 24th. It is approximately 9:15 a.m. on the East Coast. Real quick, let's do sound check to make sure all is clear before I get to rambling to find out that there's nothing here. Testing 1, 2, 3. It's doing something. It always does this weird. Uh, testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're good. All right, so sound check is checked, and we are on the move. So once again, thank you for joining me. We're just going to hang out for a little bit. I kind of have a script, but then I kind of do not. I do have a flow. I have an idea of where I'm going with this. So I will lead with a small story of what happened to me a few days ago. Quite miraculous, actually. First and foremost, my great aunt, my nana's sister, my nana's only sister, transcended from this realm this week. And in a few days, she would have been 99 years old. And as miraculous as this is, for one, as the saying goes, she's no longer bound by her flesh. So all that ached and ailed her is no longer her situation. And now she may be in multiple places at one time, meaning that I can visit with her now without having to physically go to Tampa, Florida. Also, what is very interesting about this is that now she can join my nana and their brother. The bittersweet of the situation is wondering about her life within a documentarian sense. Feeling that once again we have an instance where many of our elders are transcending from this realm without leaving or having been asked about their life with regards to honoring it inside of a produced piece where their kin folk may take stock in it, may learn from it, may be given instruction as a result of it. Because remember what I ascribe to, especially as a Coach Mad Hatter. This experience was meant to be documented and put on the shelves. And I don't mean public shelves, I mean the private shelves. Inside the private shelves of the personal libraries of those that we touch physically and non-physically. It still deems me weird how it is that we will co-join entire lives. When I say co-join, meaning however we decide to have offspring or decide to be in matrimony without ever knowing the person, without ever knowing about their karmic debt, without ever knowing about what they actually came here to do, self included. What is it that we came here to do? Now, let's not get this mistaken. Many do not ascribe to this view, and I get that. So I will say, as I often do, I'm not here to entertain you. This message may not be yours. But if you find yourself intrigued, by all means, take a seat, get a notebook, get your writing utensils, get your sticky notes, and let's have a ride. Take a ride with me, if you will. So I think about that often. Most often, it has a lot to do with the choices that I'm making now. I am reconciling regrets and trying my best to balance out anything that I may be regretful of when dealing with my past. Because I also am a firm believer in what was destined to be is what was. And that most often, when things begin to unfold, I was not the only contributor to that situation or that circumstance, physically or non physically. There was so much going on within my blind spots that what I did contribute to it has weight, but not to the point where I am solely responsible of what is. There were other forces at play. The discovery of thyself. The more popular version of it is to know thyself. In my humble opinion, in order to know thyself, it must be discovered first. And so that multiplicity of journey, what it takes for one to truly understand what it came here for. For one, it's a journey of a lifetime. And the moment that you're on it, it begins to transform your style of life. It begins to shift many paradigms and many perceptions. It begins to offer up a variety of lenses by which you may view your experience. Having said that, many will not be privy to these particular lenses, and you may see something and may try your best to articulate it to another. But if within their own existential arsenal, they are not provided that particular lens, it's going to be very tricky to, to have them view it as you do. Now, that's what I'm going to lead with. Here's the story. So my daughter comes over and she brings over, as she periodically does, this awesome treat in the form of a chicken salad from Table Talk that's on Duke Street in Alexandria. Shout out to that adorable place. Oh, and when I say I've never had anything from there that has ever let me down, I mean that. And I'm quite picky when it comes to F&B. Don't fuck around with my food. And they are such a delight. I discovered that place in 1999. I want to say, yeah, 1990. The year was 1999. And I had taken a member services position with a nonprofit organization on Duke Street, right directly across the street from Tabletop. I could look, I could go into my colleague's office and see Tabletop directly across the street. Now there's a Whole Foods on the adjacent corner, um, and Sherm is right next door to the Whole Foods uh, on the preceding adjacent corner. Very delightful stretch of Duke Street right there, right at Diagonal Road, right there in that at that wacky intersection that used to get everybody all fumbled up. Wonderful memories there as the member services coordinator there. One day, one of my coworker girlfriends said, "You want a salad?" Because I'm picky, shot my nose up. What kind of salad? She was like, "Trust me, I think you're gonna like this." She was like, "I'm gonna order it for you. I'll go get it and bring it." Because the life of a member services coordinator, sometimes you are on the switchboard and you may have 20 calls in queue, and sometimes you don't get a lunch. That's just the style of the life. So she brought the salad back, and I was actually able to at least open it up to see what it looked like. Baby, when I tell you I hurried up and cleared them phone calls out that queue, I could not wait. That salad called me and called me and called me until I sat with it. Wonderful. And it has not, how can I say this? It has not fallen from its quality ever since then. And now my children, my first husband, his wife, his current wife, like everybody that I know that I have introduced to the salad still gets excited when they find out they're about to have one of these salads. So it was the very day that we found out that my auntie had passed, and I was toggling between this peculiar energy, as I often do when I find out someone that I personally know has transitioned out of this realm. And I usually sit with death, and I'm going to get more into that of how and why that is. But my natural essence, at least go and have, even if it's a briefing with them to reconcile my emotions around them now no longer being part of this realm. Now, many that are around me still have they are still steeped in the sturdy belief that once someone leaves this realm, once they are out of body, that it's death in the in the in a more permanent sense. I honestly do not. I ascribe to the notion that I am a celestial being and a portion of my consciousness decided to come and embody in this realm so I could see what the fuck going on around here. Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or indifferent. This realm never promised me blissful 100%. It never promised me days without trauma. It never promised me anything other than giving it to me like it is. And all depending on how I view it and engage with it determines my day, the flavor of my days here. Understanding my birth chart has given me a better view, especially with regards to what to do and what not to do, and whom I should be paying attention to, whom I can love, but it's safer if I love them from over there, and not because of them, but because of me. So much makes sense with how it is that on the surface or from a mainstream view, it could look so fucked up. But the minute I begin to tap into the energies and understanding the archetypal characteristics of certain majors with regards to this energy and how slivers of certain energies are infused in my being, all depending on when I broke through this atmosphere. So my daughter, she chimes in. She said, "You want a salad?" And usually she doesn't have to tell me what salad she's talking about because we already know. I instantly started crying. That broke the dam. I was like, "Oh my gosh, yes, I want a salad. Bless your powerful heart." So she comes through, brings the salad. So me, her, and my little sister, we sit at the table. Well, we were preparing to sit at the table. But here's the kicker. My daughter was going to run up the street and get her manicure real quick and then come back and have lunch with us. There, in the midst of us just chit-chatting in the living room, there was a thump on the window. And so, not really peculiar, but kind of was. My dad has multiple bird feeders. And so the birds flock to this house and they fill up all the shrubberies and they sing and they dance. My dad has a bird bath out back. And so the backyard is always full of feathery creatures. Owls, I think I've said in a couple of other recordings where in the middle of the night I can tell this big owl. It's around here somewhere. You can hear, especially in the summer, I want to say it's a he, but I'm not sure. But you can hear it cooing. You know it's an owl. There are several uh, mid-sized eagles. In the summertime, there are a lot of pigeons. In the fall, there are quite a bit of crows. Like they all stop past here and get a bath, get fed. So it's almost like we're the birds B&B around here. Needless to say, quite a bit of squirrels hang out, and so it's all, especially in the summertime, it's always a big to do in the backyard with the little animals. So to hear the thump, my little sister immediately looks out, and when I say my little sister, she's not like little, she's like 27 years old, but she's still my little sister. So she looks out the window and she says, "Well, I'm not sure what that was, but I see wings." And it struck me in my head, inside of my internal dialogue, was like, well, that's weird because the birds that live around here, like they kind of already know the lay of the land. They have even swarmed through the front area, the porch, quote unquote, the porch. They will fly through, but none of them have ever smacked into the window. What was that? But because the conversation was already in progress, I did not get up to go look for myself. So all the energy is going on because my dad is down here and he's talking to my daughter and just little mini conversations that were still tapping into the greater conversation. The break-offs, yeah, those were all the breakouts, those were taking place, and it was just wonderful energy for what was going on with us having lost an elder in the family. So my daughter says, "All right, mom, well, I'll be right back." And where she goes to get her manicures is literally at the top of the street. We can walk. "I'll be right back. I want to get this done." So I go into the kitchen to get ready to prepare for us to get ready to have this wonderful salad. And she comes back through the door. And I'm like, "Okay, well, what's going on with you?" She was like, "There's a big bird. I think it's an owl. It's right there in the front. It won't let me pass." So I go to look at it. And when I say that I was completely speechless with this bird that was literally blocking my daughter's path. And when I say I'm sure that it would have tried to do something had she walked close to it. Why do I say that? Because I go to open the door and I literally have a conversation with this bird. It flies toward me. Of course, I run back in the house, close we have a security screen door. It latches its talons onto the grids of the door and starts to flap its wings. And with its wings tucked in, it was still a relatively large bird. But when it extended its wings, you couldn't even see out the door. And it just kept looking at me. And I'm like, well, what are you trying to tell me? My heart was beating out of my chest, but I wasn't like fearful, like, I guess because the door was right there, but it still raised my adrenaline to wonder. I was in so much awe looking this winged creature in its face, and it kept squawking. It was squawking like it was trying to tell me something. Its wings were extended, beautiful wings, if I might say. Now, you already know, y'all know, I am a word wizard. So all of these things it began to permeate. The sweat was was starting to crown the base of my neck. But I kept saying, I know you're trying to say something to me. I know you are. So I'm not going to run and try to close the door or anything. Meanwhile, my daughter and my sister, my dad had gone upstairs by this time. He was going to leave us to our devices, knowing we was about to plow into that salad. But in the meantime, my little sister goes upstairs and says, Dad, there's this large bird. At the time, we were thinking it was an owl. And I guess with all of the excitement, I never start to realize that I know what an owl looks like. But it was just kind of meaty like one. It was just, and so my little sister says, Dad, there's an owl and it won't let Bree go. She need to leave. So of course my dad comes downstairs. Now my dad is a nature guy. Remember, he loves birds. He's the birds B&B. He's the keeper. He's the keeper of the birds B&B. So he takes a look at it. My stepmom comes downstairs too. So she's in the big window. My dad's at the door. By this time he had gotten off of the door, but was perched on a chair, still on the porch, as if to say, I can't let none of y'all out of here right now. So my dad looks at it. He's like, no, baby, that's not an owl. That is a hawk. And we're like, whoa. So then that takes me into another level of just being mesmerized and awed at this beautiful creature. And it just sat right there on the porch, looking at us. We looking at it. It's looking at us. So my dad figured, okay, well, I'll get some warm water and shoo it. Honey, when I say that this bird opened its wings and took the water as if to say, I am not moving from my post. I was given an assignment and I'm here. And that's where it stood for a while until my daughter changed her mind. She was like, no big deal. I don't need my nails done right now. I'll just sit down and eat. And so we had a wonderful lunch. And by the time it was time for her to go to work, Hawk was gone. Of course, that left such an impression on me. And being the type that I am, I immediately ran upstairs and started researching what is it, what's going on, what is the underlying nature when you cross paths with a hawk. Because it was so, and let me just say this, it latched onto the door and spread its wings again in front of my dad. So, like, there are multiple witnesses. I'm not a fucking crackpot. This actually happened, and it went down in front of several people. And so it latched its talons on again to the door after my dad tried to throw the water on it. It rushed him, and he came, closed the door back, and it latched onto the door again and spreaded its wings, and it was squawking. And while all of this was going on, it was so surreal. I was just in this mental zone, like when nature comes in that close proximity of me, I know that it's coming to tell me something. It's coming. It knows I'm going to go research it. It knows I'm not going to dismiss it as nothing. It already knows this about me. So the rest of the day, I am like having these sidebar conversations with death about my auntie and my nana and my Uncle Willie, and I am trying to send small pieces of information to the youngins of my family to try to give them insight about death, especially as it's in conjunction with their great auntie, great auntie. Yeah, because it's my great auntie. So their great auntie, 99 years old. And all of this stuff is going on, and I'm trying my best to compartmentalize, but it's not. It's not having it. It's bleeding all over the place, blurred lines all over the place within my realms of comprehension. And I'm just like, okay, just go with it. Even right now, I feel like I need to calm down a little bit. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Wait, just hang tight a minute. Okay, all right. So, the behind the scenes portions of my life that was taking place prior to me getting the news about my auntie. And I'm going to screen share now to give, um, I'm not even sure if I can do this. Let's see if I can do this. But before I do, real quick, let's go here real quick. And I would just like to remind you that there is a virtual landing where I keep all of my stuff. So if you are claiming yourself as a Coach Mad Hatter, as a Braveheart, or an Urbanite, more than likely you will find something useful at North Star. And I say at, sorry, I have to remember that that at sign means something as well. NorthstarNarratives.blogspot.com. This is where we hang out for the moment. Um, Soon there will be a link here to this recording so that it may be easily accessible for all those that feel compelled to share, which I am hoping will begin to happen at a more greater pace. I am believing in the power of the grapevine. I always have, always will. I spent 20 years in the beauty and barber salon, and I never publicly advertised, not once. I had business cards, but other than that, the 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 traveling of the grapevine is how I was able to keep consistent with generating business. And it wasn't just generating business with populating my chair and having clients, it was also the ability to hold communion with my community. References, good, bad, or indifferent, plays a wonderful part in the economic plushness of the community, especially the communities by which I dwell in. And I believe that if I advertise anything, it will be to spotlight someone else. I like the organic nature of the I'm coming to you because so and so referred me, or I'm coming to you because you were mentioned in a conversation, or I'm coming to ask questions because your name came up. I believe in that type of commerce, mainly because I'm not, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Particularly interested in becoming commercialized. It takes the intimacy of relationships away. And I'm an empath. Even though I don't really claim it from the rooftops, I am. The vibratory nature of people, places, and things takes a toll on me. And it's usually either depositing or debiting. And since I can't control what it's doing until I actually get into it, I have control of where I be and whom I be with. So, here we are, right? Why are you assisting slash accommodating me? because you have crossed my path, the Fae of the land. I was listening to an interview with a professor of filmmaking a couple of days ago. I want to say maybe right around the time, of within days after me uh, dealing with the transcendence of my auntie. And he made mention of a story that had this particular context. And I've noticed that with human beings, especially if you are going to assist or accommodate them without charging them anything, without saying, I've done this for you, now you owe me this. So much so to the point where many humans won't trust it unless they really need it. And then they will mistake it for charity, never looking into a person's karma or its portfolio of karma. And karma is not good or bad. Karma is neutral and it fits the vibe of the situation, the circumstance, and the moment. And it gives the moment what it needs. Karma is multiplicated, multifaceted. Shout out to AbOG. Karma is multifaceted, which means it can flip the script, fill in the blanks, and dance with you all at the same time without ever losing sight of you being the main idea of the situation. It's all about you. It's always all about you. And so to come across or to cross paths with individuals that will assist and accommodate, and then have the audacity to say, you don't owe me anything. You owe me nothing. It was actually my pleasure to do this for you. Remember me. That's all you have to do is remember me. Wave to me if you see me in the grocery store. And if you like me all that much, you may hug me so that the universe can have its vibratory due. Folks don't realize the energetic impact social distancing is having. But I digress. I don't think I'm going to ever truly share my intimate feelings or sentiments around what we're dealing with these days. But of course, I have notions, I have ideas, I have contemplations, I have comprehensions around such things. I am an ambassador of hugs. I even hug trees. I believe that it is a significant exchange. Now, of course, those that are steeped in fear believe that somehow energies that they are not supposed to have will consume them. And that's kind of moronish to me because energy going to come for you whether you hugging someone or not. If it's due for you to be involved with challenging energy, it already has you on its radar. It already has a date with you. It already has you penciled in to deal with you. So, needless to say, I freely hug because each and every time I do, I know that the forces within me are destined to be engaged with the forces within you. And if my inner dialogue says, don't hug, I don't hug. But the moment it says you are free to hug, yeah, just like my big sister. My big sister, Reese, I was just telling my niece this a couple days ago. She will hug your pain away, baby. And she is not the type to say, oh, I ain't hugging them. Something might get on me. She stands so authoritative in that big heart of hers. I don't think anything could get on her, even if it tried. There's a certain kind of auric repellent that she has. She will hug your pain away and she'll hold on to you. She will hold on to you until it's done. And she don't care. We could be in a room full of people. When my sister hugs you, everything goes silent. And I don't mean people stop and watch. No, I mean that within you hugs her back to the point where the both of you are enveloped in this bubble of energy. And you know, ain't nothing but reconciliation going on there. To the point where my niece had to say, you know what, you're right. Aunt Risa do hold on to you. Yes, baby. She holds on to you. I love people like that. I can always tell too. And it's like, it seems like the more uptight you are, the less hugger you are. And that's just mine. And you know, this isn't gospel I'm talking about, but I just notice. And because I'm a hugger, I notice those that are also huggers. And to me, in my personal opinion, those are the healers. Those are the healers that don't claim to be healers, because laughter and hugs do way more than we give them credit for. One of my most fancy quotes is from one of my most favorite stories, Nanny McPhee. I love the storyline surrounding Nanny McPhee. Not only is it mystical and mysterious, but it has healing components surrounding it and threading it, all according to how we perceive and learn through sheer acquaintance. So Nanny McPhee says, when you need me but do not want me, then I must stay. When you want me but no longer need me, then I have to go. That is the mantra. That is the manifesto of healers. Many times we be wondering why we are in such challenging predicaments, never realizing that even though it's challenging for one, it could be very healing for others. And even though it could be very healing for others, it could be almost detrimental for some. We look at this thing called burden and charity and participation and engagement, entanglements and toxicity. We are looking at these through wacky lenses that seems to be giving us all the wrong impressions. Even those that have embraced the recontouring of the concept of tribe, not realizing that everyone in the tribe were not breadwinners, everyone were not witty, everyone were not cultivated, everyone were not articulate. There were specific people for specific deeds. And no one judged the other by how much or how little was brought to the table, as long as the table was populated and it was everybody sit down and eat. Even if this is your fifth time and you've put nothing on the table, there is plenty, beloved. Sit down and take a load off and nourish your frame. We're all good here. You owe me nothing. So, as I may mention before, there is this. Uh, where are we going? Where are we going next? Let me see if I can do this. Let's see. Where are we? Uh, that's is that what I want? No, that's not what I want. But that's interesting that we're here. Let's see. I've never tapped into this before. Interesting. Wow. Okay, so learn something new every day, don't you? Okay, so here's this thing. Here's this thing called, let's see. Oh, I'm not spelling that right. Hold on. I wanted to say Phoenix, but that's not the word we're looking for. Is that the word we're looking for? Does it give you? No, it doesn't give spell check. So I don't know if that's spelled right or not. I don't know right now. Woo woo. So the riddle of the ancient Sphinx. Let me look at this because something feels like that's not right. I don't think that that's right. I have to do a spell check. We are recording this at the end of the day, aren't we? Sheesh. So many formalities. Let me see. Um, oh, yes, we are missing. Hold on. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. I think that's right. Da 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 da. Okay, we're good. I think we're good. That word just it looks kind of weird to me right now. Okay, I don't want to do this anymore. um, hold on. Yeah, SPHINX. Word looks weird right now. Maybe because my mind is on Phoenix. Yes, my mind is on Phoenix mode right now. So let's just hop to it. Let's get to where I was supposed to have been. Let's see. Okay, so taking it back to understanding thyself, self discovery, right? As I've mentioned many times before, my first house, there resides Pluto and the moon. Maybe I should do that then. Maybe, see, I can't, uh, let me see. See, with this bar here, it always makes it kind of weird because I can't really see what we doing. That's what I want. Okay. So, what does a Pluto in the first house reveal about you? So, with Pluto being in my first house, and I am still in the first through the third houses with regards to studying me and what it means for me and my paths of self discovery. Also, with regards to um, how I may be of better assistance or accommodation as a coach Mad Hatter. What it is that I will speak about and explore and expand and experiment with. So, ending up here, what does a Pluto in the first house reveal about you? Named after the god of the underworld in Roman mythology, Pluto is often challenging. Yes, it is. This placement suggests that you had experiences with trauma and pain early on in life. Yes, I have. This placement gives a dark, intense aura that other people can immediately sense around you. Yes, they do. You have a personality that is possible to ignore. Yeah, I've heard that quite a bit of times, more often than I would like to have, but I'm learning me. When other people meet you, they sense who you really are instead of your looks or other superficial things. Yeah, they do. Pluto in the first house suggests a magnetic personality. You make a strong first impression when you meet someone. They either love you or they hate you. And this is so true. So true. People are often irrationally attracted to you. Pluto gives charisma in astrology. Pluto gives charisma in astrology. In the birth chart, the first house shows how people who don't know you well perceive you. Pluto here suggests that you are seen as powerful, intense, mysterious, but as someone who is capable of violence, and this instills fear in some people around you. On so many occasions, I've heard from mostly men that I am intimidating. At first, it used to be an insult. Now that I know more about myself, I just giggle because it's like, yeah, you spot on. And not intimidating in a malicious state. It's just me being me. When I was younger, it used to come out in the form of anger. And it used to latch onto me and hold on like an anchor. Even to this point, this very day, there are some more milder, more aloof, more reserved folks that would say that the volume of my voice somehow indicates weakness. How they say the more louder one in the room is the more weaker one of the room. And I always want to say, according to who? Because quite honestly, when I am feeling insecure, incapable, unworthy, I am quiet. That's when I am quiet. When I'm feeling unsure about anything, that's when I am very quiet. Even though others notice that you are to be reckoned with, you are reserved and can be secretive. You value your privacy and you protect it. Pluto is the planet furthest from the sun, covered with darkness and mystery. The same is true of Pluto in the same is true of Pluto and first house people. They are not easy to figure out, even if you have known them for a long time. Pluto is connected with power in astrology. A strong Pluto in the natal chart can indicate control freak or a person who is obsessed with power. I am very much obsessed with power, but it's my inner power that I'm obsessed with. As I said earlier, I usually am very sensitive to the energy in the room. And so if I enter into spaces that debit from my energetic equilibrium, I begin counting down how long I'm going to be in that space. With Pluto in the first house, the question of personal power becomes very important. The birth chart. In the birth chart, the house of Pluto shows where you can find your own power. The life areas of this house help you tap into your unconscious, help you tap into your unconscious, and give you strength in the moment of crisis. Pluto in the first house suggests that you find this power in yourself. It is part of your identity. You learned early on to save and protect yourself. Usually, there were plenty of events that forced you to find your power when you couldn't count on others. This placement makes you incredibly resilient. Now, with Pluto, I am considered a Plutonian. I am considered what most people would call a native from the dark side. With that being said, there has been many of play around what's considered light and what's considered dark. When we're talking about the light aspects, now remember, each human is like a coin there, and it has two sides. There's a light side and there's a dark side. The ratio of influence determines when you pushed through the atmosphere of the third dimension, all depending on where all of the planetary powerhouses were situated. So above the ACDC line is what's considered the above. which also gains its strength and its infusions from the sun, also associated with the divine masculine and the sacred symbols of physical genitalia is it's what signifies such. And I'm stumbling because my mind just went to a sacred genitalia. I should have said that, but I did. Whatever. Yeah, my mind just kind of, yeah, it flashed and it was like, oh, okay, all right, let's get with it. Ah. But with the phallus being the extension out, that is the genitalia between the two species that gets the sun. Especially when it's erect. And I wonder too. I wonder because we're not really free in our nakedness, but I really do wonder how many magic wands out here that could be erect in the sunlight where the erection could honestly like stand at attention toward the sun and just get some sunlight. Sunbathing, that's what it's called, but really for those of magic wands. I wonder about that. Because when you think about the feminine genitalia, it's already encased within its universe. It doesn't extend out, it extends inward. So it's getting all of the darkness that it needs because of the way that it's situated. Okay, I digress once again. But anything above, and let me say this, let me just slow down just a minute. This this the way that I have this situated, this came through from me meditating on Carl Jung's diagram about the self and how he translated the the comprehension around feeling and thought, sensation and intuition. So thought and sensation is above the ACDC line, which is considered extroverted and interpersonal. It's all about the visual with anything that's above the ACDC line. And this isn't me saying this, so you don't have to take my word for it. Jot down anything that's grabbing you right here in this visual and go take a journey. Go research and develop yourself. And I would be quite intrigued to find out what you discover. So anything above the ACDC line, anything above the heart line is about the visuals. It's more extroverted, it's extended out, aka the symbol of the phallus, the sacred phallus, the the magical wand, especially when it's especially when it is erect at its most powerful. Interpersonal. It's all about sensation, logic, thought. That which dwells below the ACDC line, it's about the feeling, the intuitive, the audio, the intrapersonal, the introverted. Has everything to do with the moon's light and the divine feminine. Now, to speak in terms of extroverted and introverted, intrapersonal and interpersonal on a social level, in my opinion, always gets it wrong. It always falls short when we try to comprehend these terms in a social context. To view them on a personal, spiritual, sacred inside of that context gives off a different type of meaning. Because when you take a look at an individual, especially when you're looking at oneself, all dependent on the energies from the sun and or the moon. You could be any of these things inside of a circular motion. Shout out to Optimus Prime. Let me tell you what this gorgeous man did yesterday in the middle of the night. Sends me a text. And he knows that he is the magician when he stands as my magician when he sends me into new knowledge. He knows this about me. He knows that's one of my tender parts. Give me new knowledge, honey. That's how you make love to me. Give me new knowledge. Give me something that I can explore. So he served as my Diego to my Dora. Um, and it's fairly new. So I have to pull my notes. Um, and he didn't say hi or anything. The text just at 1:09 a.m. in the morning just pings in and it says centripetal in nature. Centripetal in nature. CENTRIPETAL. Centripetal in nature. Of course, just like when the hawk showed up, it's like, okay, you're showing up to tell me something. So, this is what I discovered. Centripetal. And this is my patchwork of a definition to help me comprehend in association to where I am and where I'm going. So, I wrote down, spiritually speaking, it's inspired by Newton's second law of motion. Toward the center. Toward the center. So, as I was saying, that oneself can find its energies anywhere within here. So you can honestly be an introvert with extroverted tendencies and vice versa. Because we live in a hyper social society, the interpersonal is all they really talk about. And I encourage you to challenge me on this. I went and did a search to see if I could find anything that would give me real, true definition around intrapersonal. And I think I might have mentioned this before. And when I say the white papers or the articles or the journal entries in association with intra, maybe was 1 to 25 of the interpersonal. So they dive deep into telling us how to deal with each other, but they really like shy away from giving help and understanding with how to deal with self. And I know it's real unique. It is a solo journey, but understanding uh, the trajectory. Or how about this? Nope, scratch that. How about this? Even those that have walked the path into self discovery, how about having their commentary surrounded around what they went through or how they kind of discovered what they discovered would be very helpful. These individual personal accounts of the journey inward, the journey below the ACDC line, because we still somehow, as the sun and the moon travels, so does our maturity and our levels of comprehension and our challenges. And at some point, you'll find yourself more in your feelings, hanging out in your right brain hemisphere. And then in just 2 weeks, you'll find yourself, you're full of logic and you're hanging out in the left brain hemisphere. All along, you're into that inner dialogue, so you hear audio, and then all of the existential dialogue, and it's through audio. But then you have the sensation. Why? Because ultimately, you will have the desire to make love, and you'll have the desire to capture the moment through a photo or put it in a vision board or a collage, or you will want to watch a moving picture or walk out in nature. You'll want to see the hawk hang on to the talons of the security door and flap his wings in such grandeur. I'm telling you, that was such a grand visual. Talk about sensational, sensational, absolutely sensational. Okay, so the definition goes on to say toward the center, toward the heart, toward the fourth chakra, unifying centripetal factors that hold the parts together. This holds the parts together right there, toward the center, toward the fourth station of the energetic totem, which is called your heart, the fourth chakra. All is required. If we get out of the mode that says one or the other and tap into the mode that says this and that, we probably will find ourselves shifting paradigms with ease. Why? Because we will no longer be trying to say something is right and something is wrong. Both are right and both are wrong. It all depends on where you are and what the fuck is going on with you. I got the notion, I want to say just within the last 48 hours to do this. This is what I did. This is a snapshot of my birth chart. And I just wanted to see. I just wanted to put my eyes. This is where I was. I was in the energy. I was in sensational energy. I needed a visual. I needed something that the sun, I needed lightness so that I could see, to be able to bring it down so that I can begin to feel and put and wrap my intuition around it. And I noticed, okay, so here's my AC/DC line. This is where most of my energy is going on. This is where most of the energy is going on. And it most often is right up in here. That's my natural bound. So just by this glance, my my trajectory in this lifetime is to get out of, most often, out of my thoughts and my introvertedness and move this way. As well as right at this moment, I want to say in the last 10 years, I have been inside here, right inside here, is what's been lighting up, Why? Preparing to go here. I am transmuting energies that will sustain me up here in this realm. Now, it doesn't mean I am going to move from here and reside here, because I am still doing this, all dependent on the hues of the sun and the moon, the influences, and when my planets are flared up or not. Pluto remains stitched to the hip inside of Capricorn, so it's still dancing with Saturn, whether it likes it or not, or whether either of them like it or not. But with that being said, my sun sign, my moon sign, my ascendant sign, and various placements in my houses are flared up. And one thing that I know for certain, who I am right now is a prerequisite for who I'm about to be and who I was. Always simultaneously changing. You honestly can get this version of me today, different version of me tomorrow, definitely a different version of me of yesterday. So I Oh, let's do this real quick. As I said, I am, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. Um, let's go here real quick. Da, 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 da. Oh, real quick, because I found this rather intriguing. Because I've always heard the saying not to be reckoned with. So, of course, reading that passage, I had to go in, okay, so what does it mean to be reckoned with? So, the verb phrase reckon with means to deal with, prepare for, or take into account. So, a force to be reckoned with is someone or something that should not be ignored or dealt with lightly. A common variation of the phrase is a force to reckon with, a force to be reckoned with, a force to not be reckoned with. So yeah, it has bounced back and forth with certain things, all depending on the context of the conversation. Um, but just reading that and seeing it in print, it gives off a different vibe when I am to view myself in this manner. Um, More often than not, especially in my days where I am a bit low in confidence or something that's happened that may shake my esteem a bit, I often tend to linger with those that hate me. And of course, I'm using it in the context of what we just read, where it says, usually on sight, the immediate first impression, you either love me or you hate me. I don't really deal with lukewarm impressions, never have. Even as a kid, never have. Finding this out, it's beginning to be enriching with the understanding that even those that don't take to me, that's also meant to be. One of the most grand injustice, in my opinion, is these likability ratios that many of us are beginning to situate ourselves, anchor our worth in. I call it success and bucking the status quo when I can still populate content with damn near zero likability. Why? Because it means that I am not becoming addicted to the likes, that I still have things to do without my perceptions being skewed around if folks like it or not. If I am being nudged or urged to speak about something, I need do it regardless of how many likes I get. But that is how we are situated inside this thing called, oh, hold on. And I sat in a lecture yesterday that was, ooh, talk about life enriching. Hold on. Okay. I'm gonna give you the details. It was with Dr. Ken Atchity, 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 I believe, via an organization called Film Courage. Ah, the professor that I was talking about, that made mention of the story, um, inside of film editing. So let's see. The lecture hosted on YouTube. This wasn't even a lecture; it was an interview. It's titled "Being an Artist is Lonely." I want to say it's about 2.5 hours long. I didn't watch it in all one setting, but I was so intrigued by the way he was presenting certain concepts and logics around being in the film industry that it kept drawing me back. It didn't let me forget it. So I was able to finish it up yesterday. And I encourage you to go check it out. Especially if you're actively on the road to self discovery. He talks about a personality type that he considers to be the C type. The C type is for creative, it's not the traditional mainstream type C. Within his world, he is constantly evolutionizing the inner dialogue of the creator, especially within the productions of film and motion pictures. And he's been in the game for a while. So he has a plethora of resources and information and ideals around what it takes to be a creative and how you gauge yourself as successful. Monetary acumen is not the core of the creative's life. Most often, creatives are found to be motivated and inspired by something far away from the generation of monetary currency. It's a different kind of currency they strive for. And so hearing him speak certain things automatically gave me power because of where I'm situated in life, where everything's commercialized and nothing gets done if there is no money being exchanged. And even to the point where some projects that are meant to be brought into fruition are on the back burner because everyone has their focus on the currency of money, not understanding that there are greater currencies just by being in collaboration with the thing. That the gratefulness, the gratitude of the thing being materialized is going to situate the participants as well as the thing. I wonder if we ever think about that which we bring from the seedling of an idea into manifestation, into the third dimension, that once we give it form, that it's not grateful for that. Like, I wonder, are there any artists or musicians or any creatives that personify the gratitude of the thing being brought forth? Like the thing circle back and say, thank you for putting me into existence. Here's to you. Yeah, I'll take care of you. Or, remember me, hug me, that kind of thing. I'm not sure if I am communicating this properly because it dwells in the back of my mind constantly. So I'm saying it as if you and I have been engaged in this dialogue for a while and you just get me. My apologies if I am rambling and it's not making any sense. But as one who has been immersed in this life of a creative for the last 10 years with pretty much zero income. And I know there are more than not. It's like, how the fuck, like, what's going on with you for real? Like, how the fuck, what is this? But as I've said before, we will never understand one's karmic debt, let alone someone else's karmic debt, and the journeys that are associated with that. So the best bet is to understand your own. And I often say, anyone who wants to come talk to me and get clarity, I am more than ready to oblige. more than ready to oblige, because I know it's a frequency of contemplation. I know it is. I know it's a frequency of contemplation. I know. Gets a little weird sometimes. Okay, so um, I wanted to just tap into this real quick, and then we are going to go ahead on and, well, okay, I'm going to talk about the three stages of Scorpio, seeing as that Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. So there are a lot of scorpionic tendencies that dwell within me that I am um, learning about, if you will. So, what does it mean when a hawk crosses your path? And of course, I sent this article to my little sister and my daughter. Very amazed at certain things that I found out in this. Let me see if we can do this real quick. Okay. Now it was not this big, and it was actually white, and it's all of this up in here was beige. It was different hues of beige and brown, and it seemed like it got darker at the tips, and then all of this just had little speckles of dark brown, but all of this up in here was white. It was such an amazing bird. I think my little sister got a photo of it. I think she did. If she did, I'm going to see if I can get that posted on the blog, just so that you'll know that I'm not around here losing all of my scruples. Since ancient times, their people have believed, where am I? How do I lose it? Since ancient times, people have believed that they have their animal totems. There are different animals that can be, I apologize, like my concentration has just been smacked. Okay. Okay. There are different animals that can be our connection with the divine. If we pay more attention to these animals and their presence in our lives, we can get messages from the God that may be very important to our future. Our spirit animals can tell us a lot about our everyday life, but also about our future. They usually appear in the moments when we are feeling weak and when we need their guidance. There are also moments when we should call upon our spirit animals and seek help. In any case, it is important that it is important to know that you should not ignore your spirit animal when it appears in front of you. If your spirit animal crosses your path, then it is a very important sign, and you should pay attention to it. In this text, we will talk about a hawk as a spirit animal. Actually, we will tell you what it means when a hawk crosses your path. But before, but, 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 before we tell you that, you will see what a hawk symbolizes and what it means to have a hawk as a spirit animal. If you have ever seen a hawk crossing your path, you may have been wondering what it could mean. Boy, that's to say the least. Okay, so, and I'm getting nasally. Okay. This is interesting. Okay. What does a hawk symbolize? As we have already said, first we will tell you what a hawk may symbolize. We all know that a hawk is a bird of prey, but there are also many other things about this bird that you may didn't know. This bird is scanning its environment from above in order to look for food or to see if there are potential threats. There is no doubt that a hawk is a symbol of our intuition and spiritual awareness. The symbolism of a hawk is known since long time ago. As most other spirit animals, it is believed that a hawk will tell you a message from the divine and also from your angels. If a hawk has come into your life, it means that you will become aware of many things around you. A hawk is known for its observation skills, and it can help you see things much deeper. If a hawk has appeared in your life, it can mean many different things. First of all, a hawk is telling you to be focused on your own goals and to move forward. We have also mentioned that a hawk is known for its power to observe things. Having in mind that a hawk is a bird of prey, it means that this bird is observing its prey before attacking. If a hawk appears in your life, it means you should observe things around you very carefully. When it comes to hawk, we have to say that this bird is a symbol of vision as well. It means that this bird can see not only what is happening around her, but also something supernatural. It is known that in the ancient times, hawk was considered as a symbol of the soul. It is interesting to say that in ancient Greece, a hawk was usually associated with the most important god called Jupiter. In the world of tarot, a hawk is represented by the number 14, which is the card of temperance. And temperance has been coming up very frequently in most of my readings, especially those where I am having a conversation with my inner counsel. So I might just do a segment on temperance alone because I've gathered some very interesting details around temperance. Um, and I think I may just tap in to the number 14 for good measure to just to help the comprehension solidify and fortify. Okay, back to the reading. Now, when you know what a hawk may symbolize, we will tell you something more about the hawk as a spirit animal. In old cultures, mm, in old cultures of Native Americans, a hawk was considered to be a messenger. It was believed that this bird could bring people important messages from the divine. That's why people have always respected and admired this magical bird. Its powers have been known since long ago and is considered to be one of the most powerful spirit animals. If hawk is your spirit animal, then awareness is one of your most important characteristics. This bird will teach you how to become aware of many things around you. It means that you will be able to see deeper. You will be able to see a deeper meaning of each situation around you. If a hawk is your spirit animal, it means it is time to pay more attention to what is happening around you. When it comes to hawk people, it is believed that they are optimistic and they have always positive thoughts. Also, they are known for their courage. You should know that a hawk is a bird that has no fears. It is especially important to mention a hawk with a red tail. This hawk will always stay with you, so you should not worry. You will always be connected with spirit realms. Thanks to your hawk, you will always be connected with spirit realms thanks to your hawk spirit animal. A hawk will make you use your creative energy and achieve a higher level of your consciousness. Now, here's where we get to the good part. And it was not my intention to read the entire thing, but this is how I'm being led. So here we are. What does it mean when a hawk crosses your path? That should be a riddle. Ah, the riddle of the Sphinx. Yeah, that's the riddle of the 21st century Sphinx. The riddle of the Coach Mad Hatter. Oh shit. Oh my God. Yeah, that's where look. A hawk will make you use your creative energy and achieve a higher level of consciousness. So, what does it mean when a hawk crosses your paths of self discovery? Says the Coach Mad Hatter. Okay. Now, when you know something more about a hawk as a spirit animal and its symbolism, we will tell you what is the spiritual meaning of hawk crossing your path. First of all, we have to say that it is a sign to be more alert in the future period. Also, you should set up your goals clearly and try to accomplish them. A hawk that appears on your path is actually preparing you for some kind of leadership in a certain situation. The spirit animal will give you strength to do things that you have never done before. It is important to know that a hawk is a symbol of ability to be a leader in every situation. If this bird has really crossed your path, it means that it is time to take initiative and lead other people. It is also important to know that a hawk is hunting in groups. If this bird has crossed your path, it could mean that you should ask yourself about your own friends. All are those, mm, are all those people around you your real friends? Will they do everything to help you? Are these people able to deceive you somehow? Do you trust them too much? A hawk is warning you to think good about all these questions. Seeing a hawk crossing your path can mean that there is something you cannot see, and a hawk will help you in that. This bird brings awareness into your life. It will help you use your higher vision and also your intuition in order to make decisions that could be very important for your life. At the end, we have to say that if a hawk has crossed your path, it is a very good sign. It means that you are on the right path in your life. Just keep going along the same path and accept the help of your hawk spirit animal. A hawk will be with you just to be sure that you are still on the right path. So reading this has definitely put me inside of this place of expanding on the concept of a quest mate. So I have, of course, immediately inducted the hawk into my line of quest mates. Needless to say, but I will, I'll be continuing to research and develop my awareness around the symbology and the values and the benefits of the hawk as a personal characteristic. So I had always figured, as I said before, I was already researching the 3 stages of Scorpio just to gain a better awareness about Pluto being in my first house, trying to gather concept around where I was as far as maturity was concerned, as it's adjacent to my inner peace. So I wholeheartedly relate to the first stage of the Scorpion during my earlier years, especially my earlier 20s. I would sting with my words. I was very abrupt and abrasive. I understood immediately when I began to read the details of the first stage, it immediately latched on to my younger self. So if I am to continue on this path, then I would say right around here, the second phase, the eagle, is where I am more so now that I am middle aged in human years. And I often say I'm 49 in human years, but I really do think I'm like 270 in celestial years. I think I'm like 270 years old in non physical years with regards to my celestial body, because only a portion of my celestial body animates and is housed inside of this flesh, which to me personally is the reason why there's only less than 1% mind grease. I don't know the technical term for it, but yeah, that's the reason why it's so low of a ratio of brain activity that I use. And only by connecting to that greater source will I be able to channel at a more higher rate, a more robust rate. This is just my opinion, okay? Just so we know, stay clear on this. All right, so the eagle is the second stage of transformation and is considered a symbol of courage and power. The eagle flies freely, aware of its surroundings and influence. The scorpion has reached a stage of maturity and is at a state where they rely heavily on intuition and wisdom to solve personal problems and assist the ills of others. With the scorpion dealt mostly with the physical aspects of life, the eagle is concerned with perception, philosophy, and wisdom. And that's where I've been for the last 10 years, honestly. Grabbing me to the point where nothing else made sense. Superficiality is almost like my kryptonite. Their keen sense of observation, infused with their powerful intuition, allows them to discern an individual rather quickly and positively or negatively influence them with their persona. However, the eagle still struggles with balancing the power of insight. Does the eagle choose to influence the self or the whole? And if I had to sum up my right here, right now in one sentence or two, it would be that, starting with however. The eagle still struggles with balancing the power of insight. Does the eagle choose to influence the self or the whole? Which takes me full circle back to how I began this segment with the quote of the Fae of the Land, when the question was posed, why are you assisting / accommodating me? And the Fae of the Land responds, because you have crossed my path, meaning that I am intuitively inclined, linked to a source that's greater than me, that tells me each and every individual person, place, or thing that crossed my path, it is for something. Nothing is ever mistaken. It is never wasted. It isn't ever done haphazardly. If we honestly could look at the energetic symphony that surrounds each and every one of us, I think we will probably swallow our tongues. So just to get a smidgen of awareness around such a grand performance would do us some good. And right, just with that I just said, resides my struggle with trying to balance the power of such insight, because I go after that. I seek it, I court it, I tell it I'm not going anywhere until it gives me an understanding of itself. Talking about the energetic symphony that's inside of the non-physical that most humans are not even aware of. They're not even privy that it's something that they can tap into and tell it, reveal yourself to me. So I am literally courting this energetic symphony as if I was a dude who knew who he wanted to marry. Like, I don't want nobody else. I don't even see nobody else. And she literally can have the baddest body and show up in front of me naked, gyrating and vibrating like the best thing ever. And if it's not you, that's the way I am pursuing this thing. Or girl, I mean, I'm I just was now that I'm feeling a little withdrawn, like not to dismiss anybody else's attraction for anything else. I'm just talking about me right now. And so the I know the feeling of having a guy who has his eyes set directly on you and nothing else will do. I know what it feels like to be the target of such passion. So I'm not sure if I'll ever disassociate myself from getting to know this energetic symphony that permeates this third dimension. So I'll just tap into this third phase and then we'll end it here. So we'll close out with the third phase called the Phoenix, which shout out to all of those who have replaced the morning greeting, good morning, because the vibration of the word morning, even though it's spelled differently, it has a different meaning. The morning that's associated with a brand new dawn, the dawn of a new day, it seems to now be bleeding into this thing where it sounds like the greeting is do good in feeling bad or do good in your grief, like good grief. Like that seems to be the way that it's now permeating to those inside of Phoenix mode. I have been noticing that those that are transforming their inner dialogue with self, they are beginning to greet one another by saying grand rising, grand rising. I love it. The moment I heard it, and I've been noticing more my Aries friends use it, my Gemini friends use it. Let me think. My Virgo friends use it. Those are the three that's tapping into me. My Scorpio friends are using it too, but I only have a handful of Scorpio friends. That's why it didn't come up to me quite. But it's been such a delight that none of these people know each other. And I've never mentioned it to any other about this that I'm noticing. But I'm noticing that those that are taking the reins and become very entrenched in their self-development, they are starting to greet me with Grand Rising. Love it. Okay, so the third stage, the Phoenix. The Phoenix represents the final stage of transformation for Scorpio. As we progress through Scorpio's various stages of power, we see Scorpios struggle with balance. With will the composed Scorpio manipulate things to be as he wishes. The extreme natured Scorpio is tempered. Temperance, we gonna talk about temperance. Reborn from the ashes, renewed and rejuvenated as the phoenix, representing the capacity for empathetic observation without judgment, thus, an expansion of compassion and disillusionment of self. The phoenix strongly associated with the phoenix strongly associated with rebirth, resurrection, and transformation is a symbol that represents Scorpio breaking the change of attachment, having learned the lessons of letting go. And I know that that is a grand lesson for me as I tap into it from this direction and from this direction. And the key for me is to have it flow. It can ebb and flow from this direction, ebb and flow from this direction, ebb and flow from this direction. And when I allow it to be that way, this is when it'll start doing this, which will take me here. It will take me here. And then I will become the living embodiment. You want to talk about the journey from the South Node to the North Node? And just to make mention, my North Node is in Aquarius. So it's evolutionary bound anyway. It's all adjacent and according to me being able to let go. So, with that said, my loves, if you've suffered through all of this, even though I don't really think it was a suffering, it really is a lesson in temperance. Yeah, a lesson in patience, a lesson in what it is that you sit in front of me to gain. Hopefully, I've met your expectations. And even if not, I've met your curiosity where you've jotted down some kind of notes that's going to take you somewhere else. Hopefully, I can serve you like Prime serves me when he sends me these random things to go look at. And he knows I'm going to crack it open. He knows I'm going to go follow it. He knows I'm going to follow the trail. He knows this. So, I bid you good day. Grand Rising.